everybody. It is around 10 a.m. in the morning for me right now. I'm due to go to work at about 2 and I'll be coming back at 11. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to film because last night I was laying in bed thinking about how I've not yet come across any tag that's specific to ASMR, the world of ASMR, everything ASMR. Now, I could be wrong, but I believe this will be the first ASMR tag. If it's not, then there's potentially some floating around on Tumblr. I'm just afraid I don't know how to use Tumblr, so I wouldn't know. But from what I could see on YouTube, there doesn't seem to be any tag questions yet created. So, last night, couldn't sleep. I was up till 3 a.m, so instead I just jotted down the questions on my iPhone notepad, and there's 7 questions in total. Now I will leave the questions in the description box for anybody that wants to either answer them themselves, whether for fun or whether they want to make a video out of it too. Okay, now just a heads up, you might hear some random noises in the background. My dog's settled down next to me on a beach mat just for a quiet life, so she's not whining for my attention while I'm filming this. Okay, it's also very hot today. I don't know why I'm wearing a hoodie, but you know. Okay, so we'll start with the questions then. Okay, so number 1 then, and this is with the assumption that you yourself experience ASMR. So number 1, did you experience ASMR growing up or in your childhood? So my response to that is yes, I did experience ASMR growing up. However, I didn't know what it was, just as many, because back then there was no term for it and it was never spoken about, not until recent years, as we're all aware. But it was always very far and few between when I did experience ASMR, because I didn't know what was generating it, so to speak. So yeah, I couldn't make the connection between sound and the experience, the tingles in the back of my head. And back then as well, being a child, I wouldn't have even had the capability or vocabulary to explain the sensation as well. I think collectively as a community, the ASMR community has done a very good job of explaining the sensation to others, so that even those that experience ASMR themselves are more aware of what it is they're experiencing. But now I couldn't make the correlation between sound and the nice sensation, so it would come every now and again, very rarely, and I liked the experience when it came on, but because I didn't know it was to do with sound, I didn't know how to replicate it. The only instance I knew how to replicate it was if somebody were to play, that game where you draw the letters on your back. So I thought it was purely touch generated. Didn't realise the sound or visual triggers were something of existence as well. And now that I am aware of what ASMR is, now looking back, I can also recognise that things such as teachers flicking through worksheets and handing them out, and the way in which they would poise himself. So I was triggered by the visual triggers as well, and the sound of the pages turning and everything like that. If they would flick through the pages in a particular way, that would be very triggering to me. So yeah, number one, I did experience it growing up, but I didn't know what it was. Hello baby. And she's whining. Okay. So, number two, how did you discover the ASMR community? Now, I've spoken about this previously, I think in one of the first videos I ever did. I believe it's called something like My Introduction to ASMR or something along those lines. So I came across the ASMR community on YouTube by accident. Initially I was searching binaural beats because at the time, again, I didn't have any knowledge on it. I thought that binaural meant a monotone frequency that helps relax you or distress you and send you to sleep. And I thought that it was also a frequency that is sometimes incorporated into music. So I was having difficulty sleeping for quite some time because I was going through a very tumultuous breakup, can't pronounce that word, and I wasn't getting any answers from the individual that would have otherwise put my mind at ease. He seemed very unwilling or unknowing of his own mind as to why his actions were took him to where it took him to. He wasn't very, he couldn't really explore his mind too much. So he just simply couldn't give me the answers. So I couldn't sleep for a long while. So instead I sought out alternative methods of sleep, which was at the time binaural beats, which I thought again was a frequency tone. Now, because of the way in which the YouTube world works, in the next up and coming days it started recommending ASMR videos because I had searched the term binaural. I did in fact find my binaural beats for that night and I fell asleep to the beats. But yeah, then thereafter YouTube started recommending ASMR videos as a result. So I didn't really pay any attention to the term within the videos where it was saying ASMR. But one video came up in my suggested recommended feed of this well-groomed male. He looked slightly younger at the time and he was in a darkly lit room. I know now that this was Fred's voice, but for the longest time, even up until like a month ago, I couldn't remember who made the video because I've come across his channel since, but his appearance and his style of the videos have changed quite a lot from the initial one. However, I looked back recently over his videos and I found that video and yeah, I remembered it as him. But initially I had clicked on the video, I thought it was just a normal vlog. It was talking about movies. The guy looked attractive to me, so I clicked on it. And then he was whispering and I got very confused again, such as many other people do when they first click on one of these videos, when they fall into the weird part of YouTube, as they like to tell us all in the comments. And yeah, I was like, why is this person whispering? Is he just really shy? But then if he's shy, then why is he making YouTube videos and putting himself online for thousands to see? And I thought maybe he's got a speech impediment, but I didn't want to be rude and ask, so instead I was looking through the comments to see if anybody else had asked why he was whispering, and nobody was asking. All they were saying is that he's got a very relaxing, calming voice. So as was potentially a niche just to relax people, and didn't think much of it. Went about my day, but because I'd clicked on one ASMR video, once again the world of YouTube came suggesting more and more ASMR videos. So still I wasn't familiar with the term. However, coincidentally, around the same time, while I was at work, the Daily Mail published an article about ASMR and explaining what it was and what the term meant, stood for, and the front and centre picture was gentle whispering. There was a video attached as well, but because I was at work I couldn't press play, but it gave me a bit more of an understanding. So then I went home and started watching them, and it took me a couple months for my understanding of it to grow, and then a couple months after I started watching ASMR videos, I then started making ASMR videos. So that was question number 2. Question number 3 is, what are your favourite triggers? Rather, because I can't spell, I've put fav rate triggers. I'll spell it correctly in the description box, but yeah. So initially, when I was first getting into the ASMR community, in particular, I liked tapping videos. I've done a few myself. I think quite accidentally my style is quite fast, but yeah, and then it kind of evolved as I got into exploring role plays available, finding out what was common within ASMR, and I like sticky sounds as well, sticky fingers, and rustling, and spray bottle sounds, which you'll notice because I incorporate spray bottle sounds into a lot of my videos, whether that be with hair related videos, for instance when I was cutting my own hair, or hairdresser role plays, or spa role plays. I'll try and get the spray bottle in wherever I can. Most recently it was the potions role play with the fizzy bath bombs. So yeah, and also another massive trigger for me is languages, particularly languages that I can't understand, because it's more so not background noise, that's not the appropriate word, but I can't think of any other word, but the point is I'm then not focusing on every word that's being said, and hence keeping me up because it's not in English, so I don't understand it, which I like. And I guess the addiction of other languages as well, something very triggering about that for me too. So, number 4, who is your favourite ASMR artist? So my favourite ASMR artist is Anna Soft, or Soft Anna. I can never remember which way around it is, I'm afraid. But yeah, she also does primarily Polish videos. So I just love the way in which she holds herself, her demure, the way she articulates things. Even I can't understand what she's saying, but she sounds very articulate. And just in general, she's just seems to be the embodiment of ASMR. Her videos are very slow and calm, and she doesn't even show her face, but she manages to be very demure. And yeah, so Anna Soft would be my favourite ASMR artist, aside from the usuals. So that was number 4. Number 5, have you ever experienced ASMR immunity? So yes, I have experienced ASMR immunity. Maybe the reason why that question is added into the tag video is because I've only just recently experienced ASMR immunity for the first time. Now, I don't believe it was because I was overexposing myself to ASMR videos, but rather I think at the time, a couple of weeks ago or whatever it was, my stress and anxiety levels were too high for ASMR videos to dissipate it. So at the time, ASMR videos didn't have any effect, didn't achieve anything, but that dissipated. But I would anticipate that in the future again when my stress levels rise. I believe I'd get immunity again. Number 6. Do you prefer whispered or softly spoken? Now, it depends for me because it entirely depends on, for one, the ASMR artist, and 2, on the video that's being made. I feel that whispered videos are most appropriate when the focus is on another thing, for example an object that you're showing or unboxing, or the trigger is the object rather than what is being spoken. Whereas I feel softly spoken videos are more appropriate with in particular role plays, and potentially if your main focus is the content that you're saying that you want to be understood. But they're both triggering to me. I haven't really looked into or explored which one I think is more triggering for me yet, but yeah, it entirely depends, and it can depend on the ASMR artist as well. So for example, Anna Soft or Soft Anna, once again, I can't remember the order in which it goes. I prefer when she's whispering. However, somebody like Ali from ASMR Requests, I prefer her softly spoken because she does a lot of role plays. So, and then the last question then, number 7. How long have you been making ASMR videos for? Or alternatively, if you don't make ASMR videos yourself, then how long have you been watching ASMR videos for? So, I've been watching ASMR videos for just over a year and a half, around the time that I had my breakup. I can't remember when that was actually, but it was just before that. And then, as I said earlier, a couple months later, I started making ASMR videos myself. So I've been making ASMR videos for just over a year and a couple of months. And I think that's helped me a lot in understanding and exploring ASMR a lot more and a lot faster than I think I would have had I just been watching, an observer of the ASMR community, so to speak. So yeah, I mean, for example, if you look past through my older videos, you'll see that I didn't know how to capture binaural sounds. So this particular video is not intended to be binaural. However, I do know how to record binaural now. So yeah, those are all the questions then. Hopefully that answered some of your questions as well that potentially you had. And as it is a tag video, I've got to tag people, I guess. So I just say anybody that wants to join in with this tag, then just answer the questions for yourselves. Anybody's welcome. But in particular, we'll start with tagging all of the British ASMR artists and then let it go from there. Okay? Until next time, I'll see you again.